How's it going, Kittanning? Got another live stream here for you. We'll see how it goes tonight. I have a topic that I want to talk about, specifically, how can we as individual citizens, how can we solve the problems of our city? And so just something that I've been mulling over for a little while. We'll see, if we can come up with anything tonight. I'll kind of share my thoughts and where I believe that we're headed. But I want to have maybe a more concrete plan in a lot of different areas instead of like I really feel like Kittanning has the blight problem. It's not like solved by any means, but we're on the road to solving it. But there's some other ones that bother me quite a lot. Addiction specifically. I don't know if you guys have noticed. There's been a lot of overdose deaths recently. We're on pace for the highest year in Armstrong County history, which should be very disturbing to all of us. And so I want to talk about that and talk about some of these other things. But really, I guess what I'm really interested in is the citizens not waiting for kind of the government to solve the problem for us. I don't think that that's ever going to work, and I don't think our local government has the resources to really solve a lot of these issues anyways. They're kind of like completely strapped, and I think in a lot of ways, have their hands tied. And so they have to rely on, or they have to kind of just do what they're able to do. And that's not always going to be enough to solve the problem. And really, I don't think that should be the solution anyway. So, but we'll get into all that in a minute. I don't want to get too deep into it right this second because I want to share the video. If you are jumping on here now, if you want to share this around with someone that you know, that would be super helpful. I'd like to at least get a few of you on here because I'd like to have some thoughts, hopefully, as we go through. If we don't, it can just be me talking too, but I think it's more fun when it's a conversation back and forth. I actually wish YouTube had a platform that we could bring other people on to talk. I think that would be kind of cool, like almost like a Clubhouse but with video. Let's see here. Sorry, bear with me here. It takes me just a second to do this. I'm bad at multitasking. I can't talk to you guys and do this at the same time. Okay. All right. Almost there. Sorry, someone left a really nice comment. Had a crazy weekend. I don't know how your weekend was, but yesterday we went to the park and helped serve there with the Partners of the Park group. They were doing their mulching and planting flowers and all that kind of stuff, and the park looks really great. They did an awesome job. There were so many volunteers there. I was really impressed with it. And then we had I came home. I helped a friend with his garden for like an hour. Not enough time, but a little bit at least. And then I had a wedding to officiate yesterday too. So I was just reading somebody's comment. They commented on the last video about that they were at the wedding yesterday. So I'll talk about that too. Let's see here. All right, I got that shared. Okay, is anybody on here with me, or am I just talking to myself? All right, we just got a couple people, but I'm going to go through this. If you're here and you want to leave a comment, that would be awesome as we go through. But I'm just going to give you my thoughts, and then we'll go right through it. I guess I'll answer this comment too. Maybe it's a question that someone else has had, and someone watching this after. But Ken said, Mr. Kittanning, I attended a wedding yesterday, which you officiated. Very nice service, Curtis and Crystal. Wanted to catch up with you, but it didn't work out. Wanted to thank you for your service to Kittanning and all the projects that you take care of. I've been curious as to how you get your funding for all these projects. I've had that question before. Like people will ask me, like, you know, who pays for summer serve and like all that kind of stuff. And for the most part, we don't really need any money to operate. Like we don't have, I don't fundraise. I don't make a lot of money from this channel. I make like on an average like $40 a month in YouTube ads, and maybe a couple bucks from Amazon every now and again. But overall, it's very, 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 very low as far as that goes. Summer Serve, our church will kick in some money every now and again when it comes to buying equipment. Like if we need a mower or we're going to buy, I don't know, weed whackers or paint brushes. A lot of that stuff I'll just pay for out of pocket because it's like, I feel like it's my project. And even though it's not my project, I feel like it is though. And it's, I don't know, it's like your own kids. You got to pay their way. So all these projects are that way. And the building project, which is the big one, I mean, that's just my money. It's like money that I've been looking to invest in downtown for a long time. And it's like an opportunity to kind of put my money where my mouth is as far as the future of Kittanning. And if I believe in it so much, then I feel like I should be invested in it. But I really just want to continue to do these experiments. Hopefully they'll continue to be successful and my money won't be lost. But so far, I feel like I'm getting a pretty good return on my investment. But like you don't see me driving around fancy cars, that kind of stuff. I just save my money so I can do things like this. I think it's more fun. It drives my wife a little crazier than the other stuff probably would. But overall, she's very supportive. Let's see here. So that's that. Anyways, how can we solve Kittanning's problems? And I don't really mean, I guess I should maybe change this, but basically the question is, how can the citizens solve the problems of Kittanning? I'm not interested in like government solutions. I'm just really not. I don't think it works out. And I don't think it's sustainable, really. So if we said, you know, the government's going to come in and pay to remove all the blight in town, would that help in the long run? I'm not sure that it would. I mean, maybe it would. You could make the argument that if the town was nicer, then, you know, people would act different. But I don't think that's really the heart of it. I think people need to kind of see that there's a different way to live, that someone really does care about them. And then when they see that love in action, then community can actually be rebuilt. And so then people will want to stay and want to invest in their house and those kinds of things. That's been kind of the driving force behind Summer Serve and behind trying to clean up blight in Kittanning. You know, originally it was like we had all these yards across town that were abandoned and grass that was, you know, above your waist and all those different kinds of things. So when we had that, it was like very demoralizing just to even drive around town because it was like, well, why would anyone want to invest on this street or invest in this neighborhood? And certainly why would you want to invest in the house next door if there's an abandoned property right next to it that nobody's taking care of? And so it was kind of this like, I don't know, I guess inside of me, it was just like this visceral reaction, like someone's got to do something. Somebody's got to do something about this. And so, I don't know, I think we have to kind of get to that point of like, as citizens, where we say, you know, if it has to inconvenience me, then I'm okay with that. Like, if I have to give up some of my time, if I have to give up some of my money, if I have to give up some of my, resources, then I'm willing to do that in order to help my neighbor, in order to help my community. And I think we have to kind of get that. We have to get that mentality about everything. If we really want things to change, like we can't say, well, I'm just going to wait and see if the government will come and do a blight remediation program and we'll qualify for some state grant and whatever it might be. Like, first off, I don't think it's going to happen. And then second off, if it did happen and they did come in and do that, you still haven't built any community. And so I really just believe that over time, you'd still see this gradual degradation of our neighborhoods, and it would just get worse and worse and worse. But what's awesome about the different things that are happening, when I think about Summer Serve, and then on a bigger scale, you think about kind of all these organizations that are working together. There are some government organizations working together, but then you have Habitat for Humanity, which they got a big government grant. But the cool thing about the government grant that they got is it's all funded by small businesses that are basically diverting their state taxes to work here locally. So it's like a large portion of it is state tax money that's being diverted to do these local projects, which is amazing. And then a smaller part of it, I believe, is not tax deductible for the business. So they give a little bit, and then they get a lot of the tax money diverted, and it all stays here locally. It's a really cool program. But Habitat before that, even when they were still doing other good stuff, they were doing it off of funding from local businesses and funding from individuals, and we would do the yearly gala, and there's different things to like raise money, but it was local people coming together and doing good things in the community. And I think when that kind of becomes our culture, then we're able to make a bigger difference. So I believe that we kind of have that problem under control for blight. But I'm interested in like citizen-based solutions on the problem of overdoses, the problem of drugs, the problem of addiction. And so once again, I mean, we're working on bringing Hope Center to the community, but I mean, the cool thing about Hope Center is they do kind of become part of the fabric of the community through the local church. Like the house isn't located in the community, it's located outside the community, but in general, the people that are there in recovery, they'll be attending the local church, they'll be serving in the local church and in the community, and they'll be working, in the general vicinity, like they're going to have employment there. And the goal is, once they have completed the program, that their new life will still take place in the community. Like they don't have to be shipped halfway across the world, or we don't have to just push the drugs to the next town because our police force is better than the town next door. Like, to me, that's not actually solving the problem. And once again, it's kind of like looking for this government-based solution. Like we can, I don't know, militarize our police and push drugs over to the next town. And yeah, I mean, it can be effective, but ultimately you're not helping the people that need help. And then beyond that, you're just shifting the problem from one place to another, which is what we've seen happen over the course of time. And once again, when you're just working on the supply problem, like we're just trying to make sure that there aren't drugs in the community, if you don't solve the demand problem, ultimately you'll just be playing whack-a-mole. Like you'll defeat heroin, but then methamphetamine pops up, and then you defeat methamphetamine, and then heroin comes back, and then city resources go down, and all of a sudden you can't pay for the same remediation that you had before, and here it all comes back, and you can't it doesn't solve the issue in the long run. And so I'm just really interested, like, I don't know, how do we, I think a lot of times, addiction is caused by pain, like, and it's either, it doesn't always, sometimes it's physical pain. You have an injury and then you end up on an opiate prescription, and then your prescription runs out, but you're addicted, and so then you end up on drugs. Like, that's a story that's been told over and over and over again. But I think more often than not, it's probably not prescriptions that are the gateway. It's other things but it's a problem of pain. And so you have an issue where people don't have solid relationships that they can fall back on. They don't have friends that are helping them go in the right direction, or that are there to talk to them, or there to walk them through these things. Or they've dealt with family trauma, maybe from early childhood, where they were abused or whatever it might be. And so you have people that don't have an outlet for this pain, they turn to other things. And then we as a community, I don't know, a lot of times the comments that I hear is like, we want to just, I don't know, throw away these people. It's just not, that's not an acceptable solution to me. Like, I'm not willing for that to be it. And I'm not willing to just say we could police our way out of the problem. It just doesn't seem right to me. So I would love to see citizens of Kittanning come together and say, hey, we want to solve this problem of addiction, and if we really want to get serious about it, then we really need to come around these people that need help. Like, wouldn't it be amazing that if someone was in recovery, that all their neighbors would love them through that process? That we could take them meals and we can invite them over for bonfires, and we could, have cookouts together, and we could watch their kids, and they could come to church with us, and like we could do all of these things to kind of let them know that they're accepted and that they're loved and that we're cheering them on. Not that we'd want to throw them away or push them out or just get them in prison so we don't have to see them anymore. Like, I don't know. We need a citizen-based solution to this. And I guess really we need a Christian-based solution to this. That's probably what I'm getting down to more than anything, the more that I'm thinking about it here. This is like, everyone wants to say that they're a good person, but then like, are the things that we do really indicative of that? Like, we all want to talk the talk, but are we willing to walk the walk? And I don't know. I guess I'm just spitballing with you guys here. I should probably just delete this live stream and start over. The next one is like empty storefronts. These are just the main problems that I see in Kittanning as problems that we want to solve. So if we're going to have empty storefronts downtown, how are we going to solve that issue? Well, I think we need to, number one, we have to like support the different efforts that there are to fill up these buildings. So if there's a problem, or if there's a problem building, like, could we go to those building owners and ask them if we could decorate the windows, or if we could clean it up, or if we could paint it, or if we could do those things like we do with Summer of Serve? Could we do that with our commercial buildings? I don't see why we couldn't. Like, we just have to do it. Someone has to decide, yeah, I want to take on that project. Yeah, I want to care about downtown. I'll be happy to coordinate, making advertisements for these buildings. Or could the citizens of Kittanning come up with like a downtown Kittanning commercial real estate listing, and we could get a number on these buildings, and try to move them, try to do something with them. So I'm very interested in that. And then we have to support local business. When there is someone that's in town that opens up shop, like the coffee shop, or it's a new restaurant in town, even if you can't go there right away, or even if you don't have any interest in it, like even if you don't like coffee, it'd be really nice if you knew someone that liked coffee, and when you wanted to get them a gift, you went down to East Peoria and got them a gift card. Got a gift card for your friend. Like, that would be an awesome way for you to still support local business, even if you don't like what they do. So I don't know. We have to get creative and with the way that we support local business. People always talked about kind of the heyday of what downtown Kittanning was like, and they talk about that it was always full, and there were always cars, and it was always busy, and all these different things. And then they're like, well, why can't we get that back again? Well, probably because we don't shop downtown anymore. We go on Amazon and we go to Walmart and all those different things. And I know some of that, and I'm just guilty as anyone. I get probably more Amazon packages than any of you guys. But a lot of times I'm getting specialty stuff from them, and if I can buy stuff local, I do. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes it's just not practical. Sometimes it's like I said, something specialty or off the wall. So you get it there. And there's going to be a shift in economy over time anyways. Like, we don't need we don't need a cobbler anymore because nobody repairs shoes. People just buy new shoes. Like, that's just the world shifted in that way. But that being said, as we go towards more community-based businesses, which is where I think the future lies, like businesses that you go to build community, things like coffee shops, things like game stores, and things like small retail or specialty food shops, like all that kind of stuff, I believe does have a future in the small towns of America. But when those things happen, when we're blessed to have people that are willing to invest in the community, then we have to support them as individuals. And not even just as individuals, but we need to get creative in how we do that. So I'm interested in any ideas that you guys would have, whether you're watching this now or whether you're watching this later. Put them in the comments. Like, how can we as individuals come together to put together a plan to help our local business community? And the last one that I have on my list, at least, is effective and efficient government. I mean, we've been through this before, but I'm very interested in helping them. Like, one of my ideas is, like, can we put together a scorecard that they could use in order to communicate with the citizens of Kittanning? I think that's one of the major issues, is like the communication, or people, at least the perception of communication, just isn't there. And I think it would be a lot simpler if we had, if like the Kittanning Borough and the citizens at large could kind of say, hey, these are the problems that we're facing. And if we have those problems down, then we can just, I call it like incentive-based governing. If we can have incentive-based governing and just like a simple scorecard that everyone could keep track of, then we'll know that what they're doing is working or what they're doing is not working. And then we can shift tacks if we need to. And at the next election, we can either continue, if we're happy with the scorecard, with the people that we got, or if we need to get new people, then we need to, then we can do that based off of people that we believe could solve the problems that we have, or that could make the scorecard move in the right direction. So I go through these problems, and if we said, yeah, these are the 3 big problems that we want to take care of. We want to have a vibrant downtown again. We want to help clean up drugs out of our community and help people that are caught up in addiction. And we want to improve our residential neighborhoods. If we said those are the 3 metrics that we want to solve, then it's really simple. We already have a Kittanning property improvement map. Like, I already have all those metrics. And so it would just be a matter of every month or every quarter just surveying the town again. It would take some time for someone to do, but we do have people in the city that work full time at this. So if they were able to tell us, yeah, okay, when it comes to property improvement, here's the here's the quarterly improvement that happened. Here's how many of the 200 houses that are still on our list, 10 of them were fined last month, and they're going through a process of remediation to get their houses in alignment with current codes. And we had that just on a scorecard. It's just real simple, just a couple metrics for each one. That's a win for me. Then if we went to addiction, and the police could say on the supply side, we have identified, there were 10 arrests for drugs over the past couple months. 2 of those were dealers. There was X amount of product that was taken off the streets. And then in addition, we had 8 referrals to the Drug and Alcohol Commission. And so, we could then kind of keep track of, are the things that our local government is doing, are those things actually moving us towards progress on any of these problems, or are they not? Empty storefronts downtown. You could go through, hey, there are currently 8 empty storefronts throughout downtown Kittanning. 4 of them are in remediation for vacancy. The other 4 are in talks to stay out of remediation right now. And of the 8, 3 of them are on the market. And so we just have that scorecard, and we'd be able to see over time, last year at this time, here's where we're at. This year, this is where we're at. And just make it very simple. Then it makes it easy for the newspaper, or for someone like me who's making videos. It'd be very easy to see, yeah, we had an 8% improvement in properties last year. We went from 8 vacancies downtown to 7, and there were 57 drug arrests and 70 referrals to Drug and Alcohol Commission, and overdose went down from X to Y. Just so we would have that data. Like, it doesn't seem very hard to put together. I don't know. Maybe I'm asking too much. Maybe that just is. Sometimes I feel like it's too common sense. Like, it makes too much sense. No one will ever do it. But I was thinking of just suggesting that to our local officials and seeing if we could get anywhere with that. Because I'm so frustrated that I feel like more people turn to me than turn to the actual local government. I feel, and I don't feel like that's right. Because I have power to do what I can do, but ultimately I don't have any power to actually change any of these things when it comes to the government level. But I think some simple communication would go a long way if we could do that. So, anyways, those are things that I believe that local people individually could do. But I guess what I'm saying is um, I'm fully invested in the game of making Kittanning a better place, and I would like you to get more fully invested. I know that there are all kinds of gifts and talents and abilities that God has placed inside of you, and I know that I am not some special person, and I know you may not feel like you are either. But just because we don't feel like we're some special person doesn't mean that God can't use us to do some good in the world. And so, if you have the opportunity, if you want to connect, if any of these things that I talked about kind of like struck you as something that you want to get involved with, I would love to talk to you about it. I think it would be very beneficial for each of us to kind of find something that we're passionate about in town, and then actually, go to it. Put some actionable steps in place, and then begin to make your checklist and start knocking some things off of it. I think if we can all take small actions each and every day, then this town would be totally different 1 year from now than it is today. Like, I know we're going in the right direction. I can see the improvement. I can prove the improvement with data. But at the same time, I know that it can go faster if we all get involved. And truly, if everyone was involved, like, all of our problems would be solved in a year. I 100% totally believe that. Like, if we all really just got connected with like what God's mission is for our life in Kittanning, this place would change in a heartbeat. Maybe that's like a topic for another night. I'm not sure, but this is what I wanted to talk about tonight, because I'm like making this list of all the videos that I'm going to do over the course of the next several months, and I'm getting pretty pumped about that. But at the same time, like, man, how do we get more people connected? How do we get more people involved? There's some things like living next to a yard that's not well manicured is really not a big deal. I mean, it is a big deal in one respect, because that's the kind of stuff that can spread, and it does affect people's mindsets and those kinds of things. But in the grand scheme of things, if someone doesn't cut their yard for a few weeks, it's really not that big a deal. But some of these other issues, like overdose deaths, like, these are lives. These are people. If we can't come together and for something like that, I don't know. It's like we have to draw a line in the sand somewhere. And at some point, we have to be willing to be inconvenienced on our own in order to solve some of these issues. Like, we got to give of our time. We got to give of our resources. You got to use your talents to make a difference. So that's all I got for tonight. I appreciate you guys watching this now. I appreciate you guys that are watching this later. I don't want to be down at all, and I'm not. I'm just ultra excited for the future. But I know, like, part of the reason that I'm so happy and excited to like get to work every day is because I get to like I know that these things make a difference, and I know that you could too. And I'm very passionate about everyone kind of fulfilling the full plan that God has for your life. I don't think that I'm even in that category fully. I think we can always be better. We can always do more. All those kinds of things. But man, it's really fun. It's really fun that when you find something you're passionate about and you just do it. So, praying that you guys can do that as well. Hope that you're enjoying the process as well. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun, and I know that these coming months are going to be really amazing. And even if you just want to connect with the things that we have going on, that would be awesome. We're going to have the Armstrong Ice Cream Challenge. We have that coming up. That's going to be just like a really fun thing and a cool way for you to get out and support some local businesses and eat some ice cream at the same time. And then we also have, we're going to be full on raising money for Hope Center. We have a really amazing Summer of Serve season that's going to be coming up here in June. And I do have like my first channel sponsorship for that. So I'll be sharing that in the coming days too, or not coming days. That'll be coming weeks, but we'll be looking for projects in the coming days. And so that's just a few of the things, along with the building remodel and like all this different stuff. And it's very difficult to keep track of it all and to kind of stay on top of it all. And most of the time I fail at it, but yeah, I'm excited that you're connecting with it. And if you want to get involved with the stuff we're doing, I would love for you to do that. But even more, if what we're doing doesn't interest you at all, but one of these other things lights your fire, then I would say go to it. If I can be of any help to you, if I can be of any encouragement to you, shoot me a message. I would love to talk you through it. If you're not sure where to start, I might have some kind of idea for you. I feel like that's something that I'm fairly good at this point. Is I've gotten a lot of connections over the past few years, and hopefully I can at least point you in the right direction. And then my greater hope is that you can avoid all of the mistakes that I made along the way, and the mistakes I continue to make. But yeah. So anyways, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful night. There's a great week ahead, and can't wait to spend it with all of you. God bless. Talk to you later.